Hey guys, today's English lesson will be a little different as we're going to enjoy Kevin Barry with his beautiful Irish accent reading an excerpt from one of his stories and learn some vocabulary. Let's do this.
The night in question, the rain was particularly violent. It came down like handfuls of nails flung hard and fast by a seriously riled sky god.
Okay, let's talk about the adjective riled, which means angered, upset. He's describing the rain there. He says it was coming down like handfuls of nails flung, meaning thrown forcefully by this irritated sky god.
I was at this point 8 months in the place and about convinced it would be the death of me. It's end of the fucking world stuff out there, I said. The chorus of locals in the hotel's lounge bar, as always, ignored me. I was a fretful blow-in by their mark.
By their mark, according to their standards. He was a fretful blow-in. So let's talk about these words. Fretful means agitated, worried. Now let's move on and talk about the word blow-in, which is a person who has arrived somewhere. So he's probably new in town and other people regard him as an anxious person.
And simply not cut out for tough, gnarly West of Ireland living.
When you're not cut out for something, you're just not suited to that position or those circumstances. So according to the locals, he's just not suited to the tough conditions of West of Ireland. Cut out for the gnarly West of Ireland living conditions.
They were listening instead to John Murphy, our alcoholic funeral director. I'll bury Anton that fucking moves, he said. Bastard suicides tinkers, he said.
Who is a tinker? And in the past, we typically use this word to talk about a traveler who would go from one place to another and would fix things, usually metal utensils. And this is a tinker. In British English, it could also refer to a mischievous child, a naughty kid.
I couldn't give a fucking monkeys, he said. Whale Ray is the most depressing mountain you've ever seen, by the way, and its gaunt, looming shape filled almost every view.
Okay, let's talk about the adjective gaunt, which is good to learn. So spelling is important. It's spelled with a U there, and it describes usually a person who is very thin, haggard, meaning looking a bit sick, maybe with dark circles around their eyes, but he is using this attribute to describe the mountain. Perhaps the mountain looked also very thin. Gaunt, that's how we pronounce it, the long aw sound.
From the Water's Edge Hotel, the lounge bars included. The locals drank mostly Bushmills whiskey and Guinness stout, and they drank them to great excess. I wiped their slops from the counter with a bar cloth I had come to hate with a passion that verged on the insane.
With a passion that verged on the insane. So he was almost going mad. He was wiping down that counter and he pipes up. He starts to complain, saying,
But seriously, that's one motherfucker of a high tide, no?
He complains about the weather. Yep, that high tide.
Barely the toss of a glance I received.
Pay attention to the imagery there. Toss is to throw something quickly, right? Barely the toss of a glance I received. No one even threw a look his way. Everyone ignored him.
The bar talk had shifted to roads, mileage, and general directions. They made a geography of our country by the naming of pubs. Do you know Madigan's in Maynooth? I do, of course. You take a left there. I have you now.
Okay, so the bar talk has now shifted. The topic of the conversation has changed. Now they're talking about different locations with reference to these bars. And someone says, in order to get there, you should take a left. And the other individual says, I have you now, meaning I'm with you, I'm following. I guess that's local lingo. I hope you've enjoyed this video lesson with me and learned perhaps a new word today. Catch you in the next one.